Good morning, 10 o'clock straight up. Today's Boogie with the Wolf. Monday morning caffeine. Got a few things to bring to your attention today. And, as usual, make a note. You decide which is more important to you and what you need to do about it. We're going to start it off today with there is a buzz all over social media about uh, Kamala Harris when she was a district attorney out in California was accused back in 2011 of a hit and run accident which left a child seriously injured and in a wheelchair for life. There is slim to no information from anyone that you would think police department or hospital medical records. Alicia's not volunteering any of that information, but she swears that it was Kamala Harris driving the SUV that, in fact, hit her and put her in a wheelchair for life. I'm going to try something right here very quickly. Usually, we can find the spot. No, it didn't work. That one didn't work. That one isn't going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So we're going to grab my phone. And we're going to do what we should have done with my phone. Use my phone. Slow down. We are live on the Dave Golden profile over here on Facebook. With a live chat, we're live on the Boogie with the YouTube channel. Also with a live chat to partake from whichever live chat you wish, either on my Facebook profile or on the Boogie with the YouTube channel over there on YouTube, and get involved. Anyway, as I was saying, Kamala Harris is a district attorney back in California in 2011. Was accused of a hit and run accident where she ran over a young child who is now over 15 years older and left her. And the child is now an adult, and the adult is now in a wheelchair. Evidently, she waited for her mother to pass away because she felt that her mother had been intimidated by Harris's staff to not report it or report any information uh, that could prove that now it was in fact the person that hit her. Every fact-checking organization on Facebook, respectable TV stations, radio stations, news outlets, all appear to say that this is fake news because there's nothing to prove it. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Some have also said that the call letters KBSF, KBSF TV do not exist in San Francisco. They don't. They didn't exist back in 2011. And some point out that it's a WordPress that opened sometime in August. To me, that doesn't necessarily mean anything because all of us who do this kind of thing at one time or another might make up a radio station call letter or a TV call letter that is not being used and assign it to ourselves. Like we used to joke around when I was in college at KFJC, we used to joke around about KCUF, where we used to do everything backwards about that. But anyway, so just because it's a WordPress website doesn't necessarily mean to me it's not a true incident. And just because they came on in August of this year doesn't necessarily mean it is a false incident either. I've read other things where some Democrats are saying, oh, it's Russian interference because they don't like Kamala Harris. Well, they didn't like Kamala Harris probably from the minute she became Joe Biden's vice president because Putin didn't like Joe Biden. Putin didn't like Barack Obama. Putin liked Trump. I'm sure Putin wants Trump back in 2024 because he didn't have him in 2020. These five-dimensional chess players are a special breed and they stick to themselves. But anyway, so you have to kind of dig around and find all of the information that you can and then make an informed decision for yourself. Did this happen? If you're a Democrat, are you going to hold it against the vice president? Are you going to force the vice president to hold a press conference and discuss this once and for all? Is it a fake incident and that she will in fact try to go after Alicia and anybody else involved? Uh, an actual incident that took place and Carmel will come clean, hoping that that will get her elected president of the United States. I don't personally know which way it's going to be. I dropped the headphones off only because tonight Steve broadcasting a guest that they were posting on the live channel. If you're a guest, if anyone pops in on the broadcast, the link is on the screen. You're more than welcome to help yourself. And we'll give it a test at that point. I'm having difficulty getting them to connect, but once they connect, they're 100%. They work awesome. $7 pair of headphones from Five Below, and they are wired. But anyway, enough about that. Moving on. The first I read that they talked about people's favorite Pop-Tart flavors. Hers was frosted chocolate. Mine is any one of the frosted chocolates. Also frosted blueberry, frosted cherry, cookies and cream, which is frosted. It really depends on what is on the shelf wherever we are. We're looking for Pop-Tarts. I won't buy an unfrosted Pop-Tart because if that's the only one they have, I will pass and maybe you will too, or maybe you buy a can of cake frosting, I don't know, and make them up yourself. Whatever you do in the morning. I read another post that said people who are complaining about gas prices $3 or more per gallon and are spending $5 per quart for coffee at Starbucks are really talking about coffee out about those sides of their mouth. My reaction to it when I read the post was, well, you know what? I'm very happy to pay $3.87 a gallon here at BJ's and Rivers City Plaza in Jacksonburg. Understand that if you're in Orange Park, as BJ's where we were for just about 3 years, living in Middleburg and Coney Island, are paying $2.92 per gallon, which is a penny less than it was 3 years when Donna ago. About 3 years ago when Donna and I moved here to Florida. So are gas prices coming down? Yes, they're coming down because in a couple of weeks there's a presidential election and the Democrats want to think they brought gas prices down and you can vote for them. And then as soon as you do and they're elected, they're not only going to raise gas prices because they want to get an electric car, then they're going to raise your electric bill. Then they're going to work anywhere they can to, if you own your home and it's increased in value, tax you on that capital gain, even though you have access to it yet. And they're just, they're going to squeeze every penny out that they can. I wonder, though, if you own Bitcoin, which evidently announced over the weekend, a $2 trillion cryptocurrency decline, which means that the value of each coin you have now is about $50,000. So if you own more than one, and they were part of the $2 trillion cryptocurrency loss, can you write off that loss? Obviously, you're not paying taxes on it because it's not worth that. So you're only going to pay taxes on what it was worth. How long will it take for a bunch of cryptocurrency coins to climb and hit $2 billion again? I honestly don't know. And in the reality of things, Supermama official Sharice Moser has joined us, and she doesn't care about the value of cryptocurrency because she's just so rich that it just doesn't matter.
Good morning.
It just doesn't matter. All right.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm always okay. A lot of caffeine, volume in my headphones so I can hear.
Your audio's a little funny, just so you know.
It's always funny, but especially if I put headphones on. I put headphones on because I wanted to see if they worked. But you know what? I know they work, so we're going to turn it on.
Okay.
Just a second here.
We'll do that. We'll turn them off. I don't.
Oh, that's now I can hear you much better.
Yeah, the problem is buying headphones from Five Below, which is a store that I love, but you just don't know what you're getting a lot of times. And we're just a cheap, low-budget broadcasting company. We can't afford to spend $375 for broadcast quality headphones. But anyway, you're not here to discuss broadcast.
Hey, listen, I feel your struggles, so it's fine.
You are here this morning to tell us about a motorcade which will be taking place tomorrow in and around the National Construction Center, which is where the presidential debate will be. And evidently around 6 o'clock tomorrow night, I believe Donald Trump is supposed to drive by in that Donald Trump motorcade. And if you're lucky and he has time, he might get out and shake your hand, take a picture with you. I honestly don't know. Tell you that I should stop harping on him all the time.
Well, so I got a phone call from Trump Force 47, which is the volunteer crew for the Trump campaign. And they let me know that in Philadelphia tomorrow night, they are requesting everyone and anyone that wants to come out and welcome the Trump motorcade to line the streets of Philadelphia. There is a convoy that's planned on coming out. I'm still waiting for some specifics on that, the final details, but there is a flag wave that's being organized by the Trump Force 47. They're asking anyone and everyone to come and participate, line the streets, welcome President Trump's motorcade for the debate. And from what I understand, this is going to be an amazing, amazing evening. Of course, I don't know if you know, but Harris has been holed up in Pittsburgh for the last couple of days getting ready. So
maybe she'll stay there.
Who knows? But yeah, she's been holed up in Pittsburgh for the last since like Thursday, I believe it is, getting ready for the debate here in Philadelphia. I'm very, very excited. I was just there for the town hall with Sean Hannity and Donald Trump just a few days ago. What was that, last Wednesday?
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So like I said, they're doing that with the flag wave Tuesday night. So anybody and everybody, if we can get the bodies on the streets, that is awesome. But there are so many really big events that are coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of big ones, a lot of multi-state events, a lot of multi-day events coming. So lots going on in the country.
Let us know.
Well,
let us know.
I will. So for anybody that wants to check out any of the events that I am going to talk about in the next couple of minutes, please check out Soup Mama Official on Facebook. I have all of the event flyers for the month and for the rest of the year beyond pinned to the top of the page. So you can go through and individually pull those flyers if you want to find more information. If you can't find something, you can always email me, soupmamaofficial@gmail.com, all one word. And I'll try and get you that flyer, whatever information or whoever you need to be in touch with. So Tuesday night, of course, we have the debate in Philadelphia. So like I said, we have that flag wave. We've got the motorcade coming in. It's going to be a huge, huge night. There are debate parties all over the country. I know Long Island is kicking off some big ones. So there are flyers on the page for that, guys. If you have not checked out the Long Island crew or the Setauket Patriots or the Belmore Patriots, they are all doing debate watch parties out in the New York area. Attorney Tricia Lindsay, who's running for New York State Senate, she's also hosting a debate watch party. So New York has definitely got a lot that they're kicking off as far as Tuesday night goes. So it's going to be very, very exciting. I do encourage everybody to check out the debate. Obviously, Kamala has not been giving a whole lot of press conferences or anything like that. So this is going to be one of our best chances to hear where her stances actually are on policy. I'm really curious because we really haven't heard much other than her values haven't changed. So I'm really curious to see this interaction on Tuesday night. So
she wants to get more out of your wallet. She wants your capital gains even before they're capital gains.
Yeah,
Well, they're
Yep.
small letter gains. She still wants them.
Yeah, the unrealized gains. It's a little scary.
Unrealized.
But again, we are going to hear a lot more on Tuesday. So I am excited about actually maybe hearing some policy from the Democrats to see from the Democratic side to see what's going on. I also am curious to see how Trump's, if any of his stances have changed as far as big pharma and the chronic health epidemics, especially now that he's got RFK on board. I don't know if they're kind of working on some of those policy stances in the background. So I'm going to be really interested to see how some of this stuff changes, or, if it changes, or what we find out on Tuesday. Yep. I will be live streaming from the streets, guys. So if you want to check out what's going on in Philadelphia, if you can't physically make it, I will be streaming that on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. So you can always check out. It's Soup Mama Official on any platform out there. So I will be streaming, so you guys can check that out. Yeah. And then this coming weekend, we actually have, this coming weekend.
13th, 14th, and 15th.
That is correct. We are going to
American Freedom Rally.
Yes, in Dougspur, Virginia for the third year running. Yep.
So Penny actually invited me to be there, but we all know that because of what's going on up here and down here, that I don't travel much anymore. And we left it where there might be a live link between me and them at some point over the weekend. Anybody who's going that's a broadcaster, if you want to link with me live or invite me to be on yours, that would be absolutely fantastic. Go there. Soup Mama is a great lady, puts out an effort that is not matched by very many people. What always comes to mind is East Palestine, however you want to say it, Ohio. What's the latest up there?
So a lot of them, the latest news was the settlement from Norfolk Southern, which I think was actually a real slap in the face to the residents. I think it was something like just over 600 million, but it included a 25-mile radius from the blast zone. So it's a sliding scale, however close you were to ground zero, to the derailment, to the chemical vent and burn. Obviously, those people got more money on the sliding scale, whereas people further away got less. The problem is that even those closest to the derailment, for two people to collect their settlement, and I don't want to throw out numbers because they do change depending on where you're at in that area, but it's not enough for these people to even pay off their mortgages. Whereas if you look at prior settlements with stuff that's similar, for example, 3M paid, oh my gosh, I forget what it was. 3M paid like 6 times the amount. I don't have the article in front of me. Unfortunately, it's been it's only a couple weeks since I looked at it. But 3M had a lawsuit in California where they had polluted water, and like I said, it was at least 6 times the settlement that Norfolk Southern offered these folks. Now, the unfortunate part about that is if you look at the East Palestine rail disaster, it was like the biggest environmental disaster in the last century. So, we're talking about pennies, peanuts to these people who are still experiencing illnesses, medical issues. They're still, as a matter of fact, Scott Smith is an amazing independent tester down there in East Palestine. And he has been testing for all the stuff that the EPA doesn't, like the dioxins in the soil and things like that. If you guys have not checked him out, Scott Smith, he's an independent tester. He's got social media all over. He's also known as the guy in the blue shirt on TikTok. But he actually released a bunch of information about his findings, including the dioxins, and how they've exponentially increased even in the vegetables and things that these folks are growing in their homes. A lady had a bulb of garlic that was derailment in her freezer, and they measured the dioxin levels in that, and then they measured the dioxin levels from the garlic that's growing in her yard now, and it's over 6,000% higher. And the dioxins are forever chemicals that you can't get rid of.
Okay, so it's going to be a very long time, possibly not even in our lifetime, and who knows, even in our grandchildren, great grandchildren. Realistically, how long will it be, if ever, as far as our lifetime goes? Will it be before East Palestine is livable again?
In all fairness, if you want my personal
I want your
opinion,
personal opinion. If
my
it's
personal
ever,
opinion
you
is
say.
it's not to be in our lifetimes. Unfortunately, the chemicals. So when they did the vent and burn, and they burned those chemicals, all kinds of things were created, like vinyl chloride and phosgene gas. And like I said, these dioxins are forever chemicals, and they're also biocumulative. So this is something that we learned in our research and trying to help these folks. That these forever chemicals, they keep building up in your body, and they actually they have symptoms that are very similar to radiation sickness. They can cause problems with your immune system, your neurological systems, your respiratory systems. It is absolutely terrible to see what's happening, and the thing is that not all of this stuff has been cleaned up properly, so the waterways are still contaminated. And the interesting thing I've noticed from experience being there is the closer you get to the water, the more it feels like a chemical acid peel to your skin. So when I go there, which is not as frequent anymore, but when I have gone there, for example, the last time we did a donation distribution, we were fairly close to one of the contaminated creeks. We weren't right on top of it, but one of our volunteers actually ended up with a massive nosebleed just moving around donations to be distributed. So this is something that, you can go there, just a regular person, you or me, you go there and you actually, especially if it's raining right now, like if it's damp or raining and you feel moisture in the air, I've noticed that's when it affects you more. Now, over the last year, the smell and some of the effects have lessened some. And I think that part of me has a little bit of a tolerance now to going there. My body's been exposed to it, so it doesn't affect me as badly. But every time I go to East Palestine, unfortunately, even now, even this year, when I come home, I'm actually sick for days. Afterwards, I just feel very run down, very ill. My stomach's upset. I have headaches. My throat and my nose bother me. So I could not imagine trying to live and raise a family there. And it's absolutely important. I mean, these people should all be relocated. There is absolutely zero reason that they should be forced to stay in their homes if they don't want to, knowing that there are serious medical risks. And the scary part is with that settlement that I was talking about, if these folks take that settlement, they waive all their rights to go after Norfolk Southern for medical care in the future. So it's a very terrible situation for them.
It is. It really is. I try to avoid asking people this question, but do you think it was intentional, or intentional in the sense of they had to try something, our government, to see maybe they could add that to our arsenal, that, if people got out of control in an area, they could basically do that, send in a train full of chemicals and then just blow it up? I'm 62 years old and I'm still trying to come to grips with the fact that our government might ever want to do that.
Well, I don't know if it was 100% intentional. I don't know. I like you would hate to think that. However, there are some things that make me question it.
Yep.
And that's just from my perspective after being there, after hearing some of the things, learning some of the stuff about the area. So, for example, one thing that I find really intriguing, and I don't know if it's correlated or not, but what most people don't realize is there's actually a dump in Negley, right? Which is down right next to East Palestine. And in that dump contains some of the remains of the Twin Towers from 9/11.
Oh, delightful.
Yeah, yeah, it was an interesting little tidbit of information that I found out quite some time ago in these journeys, and
I
I
don't keep anybody from getting there and trying to look at those
yeah,
parts.
I questioned that a lot, especially when I first found out about it. But the other thing that really makes me question it, and I guess it's because of what we're seeing going on in the world. So a lot of people don't understand that the federal government is trying to buy up 30% more of the land here in the United States. And a lot of people don't necessarily understand what Agenda 2030, I guess it is technically, or sustainable development is really all about, these smart cities.
Yep.
And one of the things that you find when you go on the World Economic Forum's website, for example, one of the things that they say is that they want for example, all foods and stuff coming into the United States, or all foods in the United States, they want them sprayed down with chemicals, right? They want them sprayed down with, their pesticides and all this other stuff. They also, like I said, they want control of the land, and they want people to be moved out of the rural areas into these 15-minute smart cities for your convenience, because it's all about climate change and your carbon footprint. And
they're changing.
right. And here's the thing. They have to find ways to force people off of the land. So there's a part of me that questions it. No, I'm not saying, this is just speculation. Again, it's just, I'm questioning it, but I question it because I know, for example, Pennsylvania and Ohio have some of the highest concentrations of the Amish and Mennonite communities in our country, right?
Lancaster County.
Right. So Amish and Mennonite folks, for most people that may or may not know, they generally live, they keep to themselves. They don't take anything from the government. They don't give anything to the government. They're actually sovereign, right? So we talk about sovereigns a lot. They are truly sovereign. Now, the problem with that is when you look at the definitions, according to the US government, anyone who's sovereign is considered a domestic terrorist. And these folks can live off the land without the government's help.
Off the grid.
Off the grid, right. They've been doing it for centuries without, they've been doing it for centuries without electricity, without all of these modern conveniences. So these folks know how to live off the land. They can teach other people to do it. They have these tight-knit communities. To me, my thought process is, what's a really great way to eliminate a large domestic terrorist population that's self-sustainable, and you want their land? Let's nuke it.
Yeah, nuke it.
So like I said, it's speculation, but I do have some serious questions about it. I mean, obviously, with the chemicals, the chemical list that was everything in those tankers, they should have known not to burn them, because burning them again created all these other chemicals, including, like I said, phosgene gas. You and I both know phosgene is a crime against humanity. It is. It's been a crime against humanity for a long time. It's kind of like when the mandates had first come out, a few years ago, and people were talking about the Nuremberg Code. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about crimes against humanity, and nobody's really been held accountable. The other interesting fact is 16 states and up into Canada have all been affected by these measurable differences in these chemicals when tested by the scientists and stuff. And it has affected, like I said, over 16 states and up into Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's talking about the Amos Miller case there with the raw milk.
Yep.
Yeah. And that was a big thing. That was actually Lancaster County here in Pennsylvania. I actually went to one of the trials, and I covered some of that outside. And it's really scary to see how they're attacking natural organic foods, these small farmers. Again, they've been attacking our food supplies left and right in the last couple of years. I mean, obviously all those meat processing plants burning up, and, like I said, they're limiting some of the ranching and stuff out west on those federal lands. They're limiting those cattle ranchers and stuff. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to see how all of this is playing out when it comes to the food.
Not good. And the food itself isn't good.
No, and they're putting cricket powder in things and lab printing meat in Europe.
Yeah, I heard about the lab printing meat when it first seemed to hit the scene. That there's an Israeli company that does it, and they claim, and I guess people who have tried it say they can't tell the difference. But I'm sure if you can't, I'm sure your body can. And I just, I can't imagine going out and spending $20,000 for a good printer to print up everything I need and then making steak off of it. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
Yeah,
3D steak
just
doesn't sound appetizing.
Well, I mean, and then the other alternative, you have the lab grown meat, which, for example, Campbell's is using in their soup. And those lab grown meats are grown from like precancerous cells, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
That's really gross. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'll keep going to the butcher, to the farmers, and buy my stuff directly from the farms, because honestly, it is scary when you look at what's going into our food. And they've been doing this for years. I mean, we when we talk about the chronic health epidemic here, especially in the United States, we have our foods have so many chemicals, so many preservatives, so many processed stuff. And the truth is that a lot of our diseases, and correlation doesn't equal causation, I know this, but a lot of our diseases and ailments showed up with the grocery stores. There was a time grocery stores really weren't a thing. Your milk got delivered to your porch. You grew your stuff in the backyard. You went out, you picked it, or you went to the butcher for your meats. You knew everybody in town, and you knew where your food was being sourced from. Unfortunately, convenience of the modern times, it's all processed, prepackaged, stuffed full of chemicals, and there's really not a whole lot of nutrition to a lot of this anymore.
No, there isn't. It's just empty. Your body's hungry. You put something in it, and you feel full.
Yeah, and then
and they're working on supposedly little capsules that will be the same thing. You can swallow a capsule and feel like you ate a 5-course meal.
Yeah,
that scares me.
The crazy part is, even if you grow your own food anymore, going back to East Palestine and the chemicals in the air, not only are these chemicals in the air, but we can talk about chemtrails spraying the metals, and those metals, what they do. So not only do they like block the sun or whatever they're trying to do with them, but those heavy metals are neurotoxins. Most people don't understand that heavy metals very easily transfer through the blood-brain barrier. Now, in the last few years, there's been a lot of research about the correlation of heavy metals in the brain to Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, fibromyalgia, which is kind of interesting. It's really interesting research. Of course, it's not anything definite that I know of, but again, it is being studied right now.
As I have always said, because I'm sorry I cut you off, but as I have always said, because of the 3-year diagnosis, if anyone is quote unquote on our side and wants to come on and talk about dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, because that runs in my family too, and whether we're eating it or we're become wards of the pharmaceutical companies, please come on. I can't guarantee that Facebook won't knock the broadcast off. I can't guarantee that 61 groups we sent this broadcast to today will all let it go through. I can't guarantee that YouTube, which fortunately YouTube hasn't spanked me at all in the last almost 2 years.
No, I've been really lucky with YouTube.
And I mean, I've gone on and even done broadcasts where I look at the camera and I go, "Hey, YouTube, it's been 2 years since you spanked me. Did you forget about me or something?"
You want to hear something crazy? My most censored platform out of all of the ones that I run. No, it's not Facebook.
It isn't?
No, you ready for this?
TikTok.
Because
everybody went to TikTok And I'm sorry I didn't, because Beijing ByteDance still has one seat on its board of directors, which is the Chinese Communist Party. They lie about it when they are in Washington, D.C. at the House and or the Senate. They act like they don't know. And when President Trump, back in the first term, said, I want you guys out of here, it was because Chris Wray, who at that time was a good FBI director, went to him and said, hey, these people are spying on us.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I went over, I looked around once. I just wasn't impressed.
It's not my favorite, but here's the thing.
But you get better coverage.
There are so many people on there right now. And what I've actually found, so for example, my Facebook page is restricted again because I got notifications. They went through stuff from 2 years ago and dinged me for it just so they can shadow ban my account again.
Well, that's good. That YouTube does that the same as well. But things that they should have nailed me for that are over 6 months old.
Yeah. Like I said, Facebook's been coming out of the blue, out of the woodwork with these things from 2-3 years ago. And they're like, oh, you're in danger of losing your page. Your stuff is restricted. I'm like, are you kidding me? Can we get with the times? Like you're really far behind here.
The funny thing about it is they hit me with the restrictions too. I went into 2 groups that I'm in between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning because I was up. That all I said was, welcome aboard. Please invite your friends to join whatever group it was. Boom, 1 hour restriction on each of them. I tried to delete it. 1 hour restriction for, I guess, trying to delete it.
Yeah, well, I put up a meme.
I call them on that anyway, and one of these days they will sit me down and they will say, you're guilty. Your only choice is to become a broadcaster for us or meet the wall at Gitmo. And
well, I put a meme up that said, we the people, not we the government. Do you know I got fact checked on that? They fact checked that. It said, we the people, not we the government.
Right.
And they fact checked it.
Yep. We have a group.
I couldn't believe it.
We have a group. The world, I can never get it right. I should write it down. I keep saying it. The world stands as one against government overreach.
Yes. I'm part of that group too. Yep.
You are. Militia Morgan is. Roland Hatton is, and I am. Because I don't know where Randy Griesenbeck is these days, and
I just talked to him the other day. He was out hunting with the kids.
he won't talk to me, and I'm not sure why. So I just kind of let it go. I think he's mad because Roland Hatton and I had a conversation that we hadn't seen him do anything in the group in like years. So I just said, we really need people in here who are going to do something. Group is very, very, very active. Israel Hamas took over a large amount of the posts in the group. And I tell people, we have a government. We should be fighting against its overreach. That's where we should be doing it. But no, Randy's a great guy, and he's just really busy. This will sound bad, and I don't mean it bad or disrespectful in any way. He got what he wanted. He got blessed by God, and he's doing very well. He did what he had to do. He got blessed by God. He's doing what he wants to do, probably what God wants him to do, and he's doing very well with it, and I have no disrespect for him at all. Really.
Like I said, he's a great guy, and they were just like, he just sent me photos of taking the kids out deer hunting.
Cool.
So they filled their freezer. I'm very, very proud of the kids. They're all doing really, really well in school. And I love that I get those updates from them. Because, the truth is, we talk about people that, are in the movement and then sometimes have to take a step back. I'll tell you what, it's a brutal pace to keep, and it is. It's a lot on a person. It's a lot, especially on a family with young kids.
Yep.
There's a lot of sacrifices that you make when you are in this movement, and people don't necessarily understand that. Even from my perspective, I'm out on the road half the week.
Yep.
Those are all days that, I run my own business, fortunately, or else I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
You just go and serve soup while you're there.
But the thing is that it's all time away from my business, my home, my family, and then it's all of those expenses out of pocket as well. The maintenance and upkeep for your vehicle, the gas to get there, and then all my time and energy and effort spent recording, live streaming, putting up these flyers, putting up posts, getting the word out. It's a full-time job. Well, actually, like 2 full-time jobs on top of my full-time job.
It is. And the sad thing is, the way it's become a full-time job for us, it doesn't compensate us enough. And I don't want to be compensated really for most of what I do anyway.
I just want to keep my lights on at home and keep the roof over my head, some food in my belly. That's about it.
It's easy. It's easier for me to say because I do it from one location. But it really can. It really can be tough. I know people on Facebook are happy that they see you out there. They hear you. They trust what you're saying. They believe what you're saying. They want to be where you're going to be. So again, tomorrow, September 10th.
Yes, we're going to be finding the streets of Philadelphia.
Philadelphia routes that lead to National Construction Center, which is where the debate is going to take place. You might have to Google that or
the address. Yeah, the address.
I don't believe the Trump administration will yet leak the routes that they're going to take, but you won't be able to miss them. It'll be about 900 black vehicles coming within the back door of National Construction Center in Philadelphia.
Yeah, if you've never seen the motorcade, it is pretty impressive. I actually have videos of the motorcade on my social medias. Wilkes-Barre, the rally for that, I caught the motorcade coming in on a live stream, but I was pretty far away, so it was really hard to see. But what I did was I actually didn't go inside the arena at Mohegan Sun this year. I waited outside and caught the Trump motorcade as they were leaving the arena and caught them turning onto the highway, which was super, super cool.
It's really cool. I'm sure. I know.
I also had the pleasure of greeting President Trump on the tarmac when Trump Force One landed in Harrisburg about a month ago. And so I have video of the plane flying into Harrisburg Airport. It is so cool to see. And then, of course,
I'm jealous. I am so jealous.
Yeah, Trump came over, said hi to everybody, and then jumped in the motorcade, and the motorcade took off from the tarmac. And I actually have that footage too up on the social medias. If you have never seen Trump Force One, that is so cool to see. I actually have it when it's just a little speck of light in the sky coming all the way in for the landing.
So cool.
Yeah. It was amazing to be there.
So jealous.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Now, speaking of another really amazing opportunity, so we talked about Virginia a little bit. Yep. We've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Sunday, of course, everybody goes home in Virginia, but we have Saturday is lined with speakers. Friday night, there's a band. Yep. Saturday night, there's the band. All kinds of competitions and things like that. So it's going to be an amazing couple of days. And for anybody that doesn't know about that property, the Kanawha Valley Arena, fun little tidbit, fun little fact. The song "Devil Went Down to Georgia" was written in their bar.
Wow.
Yeah. That place also has a lot of other pretty wild history, some of which we could talk about it a little, but interesting sidebar. It was also previous KKK training grounds. So there's all kinds of interesting stuff there.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you have not been there, it's amazing. They have a carriage house. They actually have the Cinderella carriage. There's 2 of those carriages in the United States, one on the West Coast and one on the East Coast. And the one on the East Coast is the Kanawha Valley. They also have a Wells Fargo stagecoach in their carriage house as well.
Whoa.
Yeah, really amazing to see. So if you want to see some cool history, if you want to be on a really, really neat place in the United States, really, I suggest you get out to the American Freedom Rally, Dougspur, Virginia, Kanawha Valley Arena this coming weekend.
Yep.
But there's more. There's
it's kid tested, mother approved. There is, if you're like me and you really have to sleep with 4 walls and a roof over your head, you can do that.
Yes, there are rooms there on property.
If you want to pitch a tent, you can pitch a tent. There's RV space. If you want to just park your car and sleep in your car, they won't bother you. There's water sports there.
You're out in the middle. It's great. You're out in the middle of nowhere. It is absolutely gorgeous property, like I said, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing time.
Yep.
But we also have one other really huge event coming up at the end of the month, and I have to mention it.
Please.
Because it is another 3-day epic event.
Okay.
So September 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Okay.
There is the Take Our Border Back Convoy organization is having a huge border rally summit at the U.S.-Canadian border, the Peace Bridge. So the 27th is the prayer and worship night. Saturday morning, they're doing the rally and the summit with the Canadians at the Peace Bridge. And then we were invited by the Rescue the Republic event that's happening in Washington, D.C. It's jointheresistance.org. Those folks invited us to convoy down to D.C. for that rally over there in the Capitol. So
Awesome.
I'm going to be going from Pennsylvania up towards Niagara Falls, covering the rally up there, convoying from Niagara Falls with those guys all the way down to DC, and we're going to cover the National Mall, and that's at the end of this month. So if you guys can get out to these events, they are going to be absolutely amazing. And if you can't, I will be live streaming all of them.
Right. Anybody watch. And if we can't, we can't always connect a live stream, but when any of you guys are out doing this in the convoys, let us know. We'll fire it up, and at least we'll run it as long as you're doing it.
Yeah, well, you guys know I love to turn the camera on for you. I love to take everybody along for the ride because I want everyone to see everything in real time. Right. The truth is there's so much out there. And, sometimes you don't know what to believe. And I'm very grateful that so many of you have entrusted me to kind of be a representative, your eyes and ears, and be out on the road. And so many of you, when you contact me and say, thank you, for taking us along, or, those things mean so much to me because, again, I do this out of the goodness of my own heart, so to speak. I'm not looking for fame or fortune or any of those things. I want everyone to be educated and informed as much as possible. And I believe that we deserve truth. So, again, I absolutely love having everyone travel along with me on all of these wonderful adventures to all of these amazing places. But again, there are just so many great things happening. So debate on Tuesday, American Freedom Rally this weekend. And at the end of the month, guys, we've got the Canada to DC events going on up here in the New England. So it is definitely an absolutely amazing and crazy time to be.
This is not like Joe Biden and a Joe Biden AI showing up at your event. This is the actual Suit Mama official showing up at your event.
Yeah, and I always do my best to try and talk to people along the way. So if you guys I did a short live stream before the town hall with Hannity and Trump. And I actually interviewed a bunch of people asking them concerns about the country. I want everybody to have that voice. So if you guys ever see me out and about, please make sure you come say hi. Come talk to me. Come talk to the camera. Talk to America. Talk to the world. As you guys know, I go all over, not just our country, but I've been up into Canada. This year alone, just some crazy thoughts for you guys. Since January, from January till now, I have been both to the Texas border, up to the Canadian border in 2 Canadian provinces, and both capitals of both Canada and the United States, just this year, and we're not done yet. We still have all of these events that we just talked about, but I also have the yearly trip out to Missouri for the Convoy of Honor, where we're going to be there for a couple of days. That's Veterans Day weekend. We're going to be out there celebrating the vets, putting on the show, and then we get to be part of the Veterans Day parade in Branson. Last year, I got to be the chase car for the entire parade. I am so doing that again this year, like going and everything. So again, we have all of these great events, all of these great things coming up. And not only do we have these rallies and flag waves and things, the debate, which is obviously very, very important stuff.
Right.
But if you guys check the event flyers on my page, there are a lot of workshops too that you can get involved. People teaching how to clean up the voter rolls, people teaching how to hand count ballots, people showing you and giving you the forms and things and what you can do to fight back against school boards. All of these things, guys, they are super, super, super important. We have a lot of people talking about a lot of the issues that are coming up on the ballots in November. So for example, in New York State, if you guys don't know this, you need to know this. In New York State, there is going to be a question on the ballot about removing age as a discrimination factor. They want to change the New York Constitution to eliminate age
in voting
as a discrimination factor, which means that they can go after your minors. So guys,
you gotta watch
be paying very close attention. If you want to learn more about that, I would direct you to attorney Tricia Lindsay. She is an amazing civil rights attorney in the state of New York. She was an educator for many years before she became an attorney. She has talked about it several times at several different lectures. She has a wealth of information. So for anybody that's in the state of New York, when you go to the polls this November, please keep in mind that you're going to have some of those questions on your ballot. And guys, you need to be researching for each one of your states to see what questions are going to be on the ballot, to see what those changes would imply one way or the other, because you want to make sure that you're informed before you're voting.
You want to make sure you are informed before you're voting. That's actually some advice that you actually need to listen to. Our guest this morning, Subama official Sharice Moser. You have seen her all over Facebook. You've seen her probably all over every other media source. You probably even saw her standing on the runway in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, as Trump Force One was pulling up, and Donald Trump was so impressed he called her over and said, "Fantastic job you are doing."
I love that story. You can keep telling it that way if you want. I love it. I keep telling everyone that just keep watching, because I'm going to have a job with the incoming Trump administration. We're going to make some real changes. I'm putting it out there. Got to put it out in the universe so that it happens. Because here's the thing. They say, just in general, they say if you can see it, you're already there. Yep. So guess what? I'm going to have me a job with the incoming administration. We're going to make some real changes in this country. Do some real good for the American people.
Here. Yep. Think about the future, because it's already here. You're living it.
That's it. That's it. They say on a clear day, you can see tomorrow. Well, guess what?
Well, if you're Kamala Harris, on a clear day, you can see yesterday, today, and tomorrow, but you just don't know which is which.
Well, you have to be unburdened by what has been first.
Well, she was unburdened. She kicked Joe Biden to the curb, and now she's running. And that's a broadcast that I could sit here for forever.
Did you see the lady that impersonates her?
There are so many of them that I can't stop.
There's this one lady who even looks like her, but has her laugh down and everything. And her and another comedian did a parody of a debate, and I watched the two of these comedians impersonate Trump and Harris, and let me tell you, I was rolling for 45 minutes. I was laughing so hard I had tears coming out my eyes, because they did such a great job as comedians, so like I said, there's a lot of interesting content out there, but those word salads are definitely, they're definitely a concern. That's why I said I'm super excited for the debate. Tomorrow night, guys, tomorrow night, everybody needs to be in Philadelphia lining those streets. We need to welcome Trump in the motorcade, welcome him to the city of brotherly love here in the beautiful state of Pennsylvania. I hope to see you guys there because like I said, definitely will be live streaming from the street to let you guys see everything going on in real time. Hopefully we'll catch that motorcade, beautiful and glorious as it comes in on camera. So it's going to be a great night. Of course, I'm going to hit one of those debate watch parties so I can see what's going on in real time myself. Because as far as I know, tickets are like non-existent for this thing.
Oh.
So I tried. I tried. I called everybody I knew. I was like, I will give you my right leg. Get me in there.
Call Donald on Trump Force One and ask him.
No, I didn't climb into Trump Force One and ask. Secret Service was kind of like, no.
Told me if you asked, he would put you on the list.
Listen, I'm working on it. They know who I am now anyway.
Well, they know who I am, and the Secret Service won't let me anywhere near him.
No, well, I think they've realized. I mean, I'm just a little quirky. I'm harmless. I'm quirky. Quirky and harmless. And it's funny because, and I say Secret Service knows me. They kind of do because I've protested Biden so many times. I've been to so many Trump events. Obviously, Reawaken America tour. And I have met a lot of amazing people in this journey. And I have had to be cleared by Secret Service several times to be in some of the places that I've been at. So like I said, they do kind of know who I am. They know, I'm always trying to give them flyers, which they can't take while they're on duty, but I'm always trying anyway.
You can't hand them an envelope that says, please give this to President Trump. No.
I actually got lapel pins to JD Vance. I did. I did. I tried to give some to President Trump, but the one Secret Service guy said I could put them in my hand and leave them flat. The lady told me I had to.
Yeah, you have to.
The Secret Service lady, though.
You have to. Yeah.
I had them like this.
And let him take it.
In bags.
Watch you, because even if you move your hand, it's over.
Yep. Well, the lady from Secret Service. So the gentleman behind me told me I could put them out. The lady that was next to Trump told me I had to put them away. So unfortunately, he didn't get them yet. But don't worry. That's because God is waiting for that day that I get my job. I can shake his hand and give him his lapel pin. That's what's going to happen.
You hear that, Mr. President? You're another reason why you should be on Boogie with the Bull on Monday mornings, because Charisse Moser, Soup Mama Official, wants to really give you those lapel pins.
That's it. Absolutely. I mean, look, the truth is that, I'm very, very proud of the things that my group has accomplished. I mean, it isn't, so we talk about me as Soup Mama, but really it is a group of us. And it is an amazing nonprofit that we run. And I am so proud of my team. I am so proud of the Patriots that tirelessly work behind the scenes to make it look as effortless as it does. Because it's a lot of work. It is a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of social media. It's so many things that you don't even realize. And I'll tell you what, without the awesome team that I have, there is no way that I could continue doing this. And I am always looking for volunteers. Always. So if you guys want to help out in any capacity, we are looking for help with social media, with marketing, with promotion, with outreach, with boots on the ground. Heck, I could even use a wingman when I'm out and about at different rallies. So if you want to come travel with me and help man a camera or hold all my stuff or take my notes, I am always accepting applications for that.
Yeah.
The pay is terrible. You don't get paid anything.
The pay is terrible. but none of us, well, I know people who do this because they want to get paid and they want to be famous, and I don't, and I know that you don't.
No.
And it's not for the money. It's educating people that need to understand that. I've even started saying, other people have started saying, if they win this time, there might not be any more. And people are still calling behind the scenes. I just don't think it will happen, that something will happen and Biden will somehow turn us over to martial law and there won't be an election. I don't think that. I don't think it's going to happen because I don't want to think that it could happen.
That's me for the last 2 years. I've been saying that. Actually, for the last 2 years, my personal hunch is that somehow they'll get us involved in some kind of war or whatever to declare that martial law. And I think, I'm usually a very big advocate for going directly to the polls to vote. Yep. But the closer we get to elections and the more that I see going on, there is a part of me that strongly recommends that maybe you want to try to vote early, because I just get the sense that even if it's not martial law per se, I don't know. I mean, some people may have seen, they've been talking a lot about this monkeypox, but then they're also starting to chit chat about polio again. Yep. The thing is we're with these open borders, we're letting all these people in from all over the place, bringing in all kinds of illnesses that we haven't had in our country in quite some time. So we are going to be experiencing some of these quote unquote epidemics. Yeah. And if we look at past precedent from the last couple of years, we can see 4 years ago what happened. So chances are very similar that they're going to do this again. And actually really crazy. So while we're on this topic,
okay,
you all need to go check out the, I believe it's, was it the World Economic Forum. I have the link. I'm going to be putting it up on my page very soon.
Wow.
But there is a piece in there that is literally from them on their website saying how COVID was a test exercise to see how we were all going to react, guys.
Yeah.
On their website.
I've been saying since it first hit that I believe it was engineered to be a biological weapon. Unfortunately, we pulled a President asshat from Syria and we tried it on ourselves.
Yeah.
And they're still trying it on ourselves, because I got really upset when I would hear Fauci say, or Bill Gates say, there's a new strain coming out. A new strain doesn't come out. A biological weapon gets tweaked and it gets re-released, just like your computer. You buy a computer, it gets screwed around with, and then they pull out another one. So the language that they're using, they're I've said for the longest time, the Democrats tell us what they are going to do, how they're going to do it, when they're going to do it, and then sit there and look at us and laugh while they're telling us that they're doing it.
Well, this has been in their playbook for quite some time. And, the truth is that, the scary part about it is when you understand psychology, especially mass psychology, you start looking at what has happened to not just our country, but the world, and how they've gaslit people. And I know that it's, a little bit taboo in some respects, but I really think that people need to pay attention to the parallels from the Holocaust to today. And I'm not saying it's exact, but I'm saying there are very many parallels. And actually, Vera Sharov, she's a Holocaust survivor. She's an amazing, amazing lady, by the way. Met her in New York. Mm-hmm. Absolutely adorable. She's a Holocaust survivor. And she put out a docu-series called Never Again Is Now Global. I was fortunate enough to be at the screening at the Tribeca screening room for part 5. And she did a Q&A with Christine Anderson, the German parliamentarian. Absolutely amazing woman. Again, she's the one that told Trudeau he was a disgrace to any democracy and to spare us his presence. Love that woman. Love her. She is great. But again, if you want to check out a really interesting docu-series, that Never Again Is Now Global is absolutely phenomenal. And speaking of Christine Anderson, it leads me into something else. We can always talk about these big agendas that are international and stuff, but something interesting she said one time, and I think it's really important for everybody to keep in mind, is that she said, even as a German parliamentarian, she doesn't know who's pulling the strings. They don't really know who's pulling all the strings. But you know what she did say? She said, regardless of that, she said, we can know kind of what the big agenda is. She said, we may not know who they are. She said, but what we can do, and this is really important, guys, what we can do is focus on those people that we do know. And we need to hold these people accountable. We need to make sure we are showing up, using our voices out at the polls, and making sure that we are electing the correct people that are for the American people, not for the elites, not for the globalists, not for the lobbyists. Okay. We need to hold the people accountable that are in power now, because that is within our power. That is something that we can do to make a tangible difference, to make our world move forward in a better way.
Take our country back. Take our country back.
That's it. That's it. And we've got to do it with our voices and our votes, guys. Absolutely.
We are the parents. We are the grandparents. Some of you are great grandparents. I never thought in my entire life I'd have kids. I have 3 stepsons, and I couldn't love them any better if they were my sons.
Well, I wasn't having kids, and I had 5 boys. So
yeah, I tell people I got children the old-fashioned way. I married their mother, and we live with our 12-year-old grandson. And our youngest son and daughter-in-law have he'll be 3.
Oh my goodness, that's such a great age too.
And he's so much fun to play with because he is a car guy. And who else do you know that is a car guy?
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
a lot of fun. And then we have he'll be 3 months old, I think, today. And, but she was just angry. I don't know if she was angry that she met me, who's an ugly bearded guy looking at me all the time. But my biggest thing is she's 3 months old. When she's 30, I'm scared our debt will have climbed to over 100 trillion, and she will never pay it off. Her children will never pay it off. Her grandchildren will never pay it off. Her great-grandchildren will never pay it off. And the interest on my estate will never be enough to help them pay it off. Yes.
You know what I fear? And I don't fear the debt, but do you know what I really fear for our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and all those to come?
What is it?
I truthfully fear a world kind of like Brave New World, or A Bug's Life, even with the grasshoppers, where they have the ants all doing their specific jobs and they don't get, the thing is, I'm afraid that our children and our grandchildren aren't going to have choices. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that they're not going to be able to choose the profession they want. I'm afraid that they're not going to be able to choose where they want to live, or how they want to live. I'm afraid that they're going to be told to sit up, shut down, wear this, wear that. You have to do things this way, and it's regimented, and there's no free society. That's what I'm actually afraid of.
Well, thinking will not be a part of that.
Exactly.
And that's what scares me. You will not be able to think. But those future generations, the sad thing is they may not have ever experienced the ability, the right to think, free will, think, and do.
Well, that's why it's so important to be making sure.
That scares me. Yep.
That's why it's important to make sure that you're educating your children on the side. You need to know what's going on in their schools. You need to know what they're being taught. And then you need to be, as parents, as grandparents, as aunts, uncles, we need to take the initiative to teach our children civics. We need to teach them home economics. We need to teach them how to cook, clean, balance a checkbook, write in cursive, for crying out loud. I've been watching one of my pet peeves. This is just a random pet peeve, but it speaks to society. When I was growing up, we had cursive, we had, penmanship classes. I don't know if y'all remember that, when you had to have your stuff written in a certain way and nicely and neat. We've gone from that.
I was the only left-handed student in a right-handed classroom, and it was not fun.
Yeah, my grandmother and my dad, they're lefties, and yeah, I've heard some crazy stories about that.
It
But
just it just wasn't fun. And yeah, you do need to balance a checkbook. You do need to know math. When you get up into the beyond algebra, into trigonometry and all of that stuff, yeah, you probably need to know some of that too. I remember arguing with my Algebra 1 teacher in high school because he took roll off the homework assignment, and he would go, "Mr. Glovin, I see that you're here, but you don't have your homework, so you're not here." And then he'd always mark me being there anyway. But I said to him one day after class, "I don't understand this. And anytime you get the homework, you haven't realized that if you said do 1 through 27, do the odds 1 through 27, I go to the back of the book and I write down the other ones that you said to do, because that's the ones you want, and I just write the answer down." But no, you do need to understand how your checking account, how your credit cards work.
Things like simple cooking or
I don't
something
carry a checkbook anymore. I just carry a wallet of cash and plastic. So, but you have to understand. You have to be able to read your credit card statement. You have to be able to read your bank statement, which is almost like balancing a checkbook. But yeah, you have to understand how your money comes in, what you do with it, what the bank does with it, and where it goes. But
yeah, well, there's a lot missing from the education system, and the truth is that we as parents, that falls on us to make sure that we're educating our kids.
Yeah.
And that's so very important. Until we get the changes made in the education systems that are standing now, or whatever ends up happening with that, we as parents, that's what we're charged with. We're supposed to be the teachers of our children. At the end of the day, we're their first and last teachers. So we need to make sure that we're all taking that interest in the youth, so that we can make sure that we have free thinkers, critical thinkers, people with some common sense, kids that know how to, actually grow their own food, cook their own food, sew, buttons onto their pants, or wash stuff in the wash machine. There's so many people that don't have those basic living skills. That they absolutely need. Things that, like, again, home economics is not being taught in schools anymore. Civics not being taught in schools. You need to teach your kids government. There was a point in time where my kids were halfway through elementary school and they didn't know who Paul Revere was, and that's when I realized there was a problem. So years ago, I started when my kids were young. But you really, and I didn't even realize there was a problem until I said something one day and they were like, "Who's that, Mom?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, who's Paul Revere? Like, how do you not know?"
Not know who Paul Revere is.
Right, halfway through elementary school. And it shocked me.
The lead singer of Paul Revere and the Raiders. How the hell could you not know who Paul Revere is?
Well, like, it shocked me so much. And then when my kids were young, that's when they were first starting to take cursive out of schools. So I actually taught all of my children how to sign their name, because, like I was saying earlier, we lose 10,000 words a year from the English language. And we've gone from, things like David Copperfield, where they were being paid by the word to write, to emojis. And these emojis, they're no different than hieroglyphs. And with people not being, one of the things that concerns me, and the reason I bring this up, is because if you look back throughout the course of history, there was a period in time where people weren't educated, right? And they weren't taught how to read or write. So if you're not taught how to sign your name, how did they used to sign their name? They would make their mark. Yeah. Remember? They would make their mark, and that would be their signature. Well, anybody can scribble a mark, an X, a whatever, on a piece of paper. If you can't sign your name, how can you see what I'm saying? How do you claim your sovereignty? How do you claim this is me if you don't know how to sign your name? We shouldn't be going backwards in communication. We should be moving forward. And I feel like I said, we've gone from all of these wonderful, books and literature that were written at these heights, and then we're down to emojis, which is no different than hieroglyphs. It's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. People think it's acceptable, to not be able to spell or know the difference between there, and there, or two, and two.
That's true.
absolutely insane. Like, what are they teaching in these classes if they're not teaching the basics?
Yep. Yep. That was one of my favorite things in radio when I would say there, I'd go, oh, by the way, you don't know if I wrote there, or there, because you don't know which there I'm talking about. Anyway, but yeah, you do have to know, like 2, 2, and 2. You do have to know. And writing, yes, it is important. It does get, when you have certain things going on, writing gets difficult, but you need to do it. And for years, I kept journals, and I tell people you just got to take out a piece of paper and write something just for the hell of it. Because if you don't, like you said, you're not going to be able to do it. And I actually hate when I get sent a bunch of documents and it's electric signature,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows how I sign my signature, because it doesn't look like any signature I would ever write. But you're right. Face-to-face meetings are still important. Not just
the other thing is, if our kids can't read cursive, they can't read our founding documents.
Right.
And, the thing is that the way to empower people is to educate them, right? And give them knowledge, because knowledge is power. So how do you stunt? How do you make a whole population, easily controlled? Well, you withhold information and knowledge from them so they don't know any better. Right. So just keep that in mind, guys. We need to be the ones educating. We need to make sure that we're still teaching, because these things are so very important, just to the core of our country, and to make sure that we survive as a nation. So.
Yeah. So what else is there in the final 13 minutes? Tell us what else is going on. What's going on in October? You did tell people Soup Mama Official, the Facebook page, soupmamaofficial@gmail.com.
Well, let me pull my travel notes here to make sure I'm not missing any events, okay, that are on my schedule. So there is, so next weekend also, there was a convoy that was supposed to be this weekend in New York up at Oneida, but it got postponed because of weather. So that's going to be this weekend. So that's TPC New York convoy to the Oneida Car Show honoring veterans. Okay. So that's going to be, like I said, that got postponed to this weekend. September 28th, there is an event called Convergence. Attorney Trisha Lindsay is one of the speakers there. That's actually even the Bronx or Queens. That's going to be an amazing, amazing event. There's a couple speakers for that. So that's also happening. On the 15th this weekend, Long Island, the Belmore Patriots, they're doing a huge Trump train and ending up, I think it's at a winery. Because they had invited me to go, and I'm in Virginia. I'm not sure if I'm going to take off early from Virginia and try and scoot out to.
Come on, you can't leave, Penny. That's such a fantastic one of these.
It is, but it would be leaving late Saturday night. It would be leaving late Saturday.
But Randy Griesenbeck and I had talked when we were doing political stuff together about me going in. But I know from what I've seen, what I've heard, you have to go to the American Freedom Rally. Don Moody is planning the We the People Freedom Ohio
Southwest Ohio Freedom Festival. That's October 25th and to the 27th.
Go to that one.
And on October 20th, the Belmore Patriots on Long Island are going to be out for a walk. It's a fight against breast cancer. And from what I understand, I think they said something like 70 or 7, I don't remember. So a big number of people showed up last year.
700 million people are going to show up.
I was told, I think if I remember, it was 70,000. I don't know, but even 7,000 would be huge. But they all showed up for that breast cancer awareness walk. So that's on October 20th. Like I said, that's on the schedule too. That We the People, Southwest Freedom, the convoy to
my executive producer, Delilah, over here, the Chihuahua, so that she can make sure we We get this all posted in groups, try to get you
Well,
here.
that's why I said the best thing to do, guys, if you're looking for an event anywhere in the world, because I put them up from all over the globe. If you're looking for one, I did just post a whole bunch of events on the Soup Mama official page. Now, I pin them in Facebook. So they're pinned at the top of the page. And in the description, you'll see links for post 2 and post 3, because you can only put 80 photos to a post. I have 3 full posts of event flyers. So that's what? 8 times 3, guys, 240. 240 event flyers from all across the globe for this month to the end of the year. So if you guys are looking for something to do, please check that out. Now, I also make short little video reels with the flyers. So you can always pull those off my page. I used to put them on YouTube, but YouTube kept telling me that I was using too much of other people's content. So I stopped putting them on YouTube, but they are on TikTok. So they're completely shareable, and Telegram, they're in video, Twitter, they're in video. So you can pull them off of any one of those places. But if you want the actual individual flyers, you do have to go to the Facebook page. That's where all of them are located. But you can take them and share them anywhere.
You only have to come to Facebook for like 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Grab the flyer and go to Telegram and go to TikTok and go to every place else and share it.
On Telegram, it's on TikTok, it is on X. So you can pull the videos if you want. You can always just pause it and screenshot for the information, guys, if you don't want to go to the page. But again, if you want the original flyers, they're all on the Facebook page. Videos are everywhere else. So, yeah.
Keep sending me the stuff. Like, and I apologize that the Trump presidential motorcade thing looks kind of plain. It just looks like a message. I just took it the way Cherie sent it to me last night and said, I got to get this out so you guys can think about that on Tuesday.
Well,
Wednesday.
I did make a cute little video for it. So if you want, you can always go steal the cute little video off the page.
I will steal the video, and everybody can watch that. Wednesday is 9/11.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about 9/11. Everybody on Facebook, everybody on YouTube,
and there are a lot of memorials.
Everybody everywhere is going to talk about. it. We're going to talk about it from the. I want people to be in the live chats. I want people to come on the broadcast. If you've never done one before, like I said, we send you the link or take the link off the screen. Come on and just tell us your thoughts, because that's a broadcast that will never end.
Yeah, like I said, there are a lot of memorials and things going on, remembrances for the guys of 9/11. Again, that information is on the page, so you can check that out. Yeah, there are events all over the country happening and honestly, anybody listening, if you guys know of an event that is going on or something like that, send me the information and I'll put it up on the pages and send it out to everybody out there so that we can get more people out, let them know. I happily will promote your event for you and get that information out on the page if you're trying to put something together or know someone who is. So
we'll do it here. We'll bring your face on camera too, so people can actually see who's going to be there. No, but I mean, or just come on, put a box on your face. I don't care. Just come on and tell everybody what people are doing. 121 people are watching us so far. That's a good Monday Morning Boogie with the Bull broadcast. Tomorrow night is Tuesday. We are on tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, Tuesday Night Live. Our evening broadcasts on Tuesdays and Thursdays sometimes get more views than the Monday and Wednesday mornings. If you're around Tuesday or Thursday, you got a few minutes.
Well, tomorrow I'll be live streaming on the streets of Philadelphia, so I hope y'all are with me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll all be watching you tomorrow night. Yes.
So, yeah, guys, if you can't physically be there, please make sure that you tune into the live stream.
Right.
Grab those flyers.
I will find someplace. Hopefully not going through one of the major networks or a known network. Sometimes I go to C-SPAN and I'll grab it from C-SPAN. And then as soon as they start their commentary at the end, I shut it off. Or maybe I'll grab one of the networks, but I don't keep it on through the comments. What time does the debate start? Do you know offhand?
Offhand, no. I do know that we're expected to be on the streets at, I believe it's 6:30 for the motorcade. So I'm assuming it's probably 7
Okay.
or so. I don't have that exact time, just because I was more concerned with what time I have. I mean, I'm going to be leaving early in the morning to go towards Philadelphia and kind of camp out for the day.
If it is 7 o'clock, then we won't go live with a broadcast. We'll just go live, live streaming it from whichever best source we think we can get to, because you need to watch it. Some broadcasters will play it in the background while they're on. I don't want to do that. You need to pay attention to what is going on. You need to pay attention to body language. You need to pay attention to what people say. I'm not yet convinced that Trump is just going to play it really tight. She's going to say something to him. He's not going to show any emotion. She's going to say something to him.
I think she's going to try
and all of a sudden, without yelling at her, without getting mad at anybody, he's just going to say, well, Kamala, you know that's not true. And then he's going to hit her with something.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how it goes. Although, and just on a side note, guys, there are people, if you go onto YouTube, if you look, there are body language experts that analyze both of them, Harris and Trump. And there's actually a video, there's a panel of 4 guys, and they analyze Trump in one video and Harris in another. I suggest you check out those body language experts, guys. They're pretty interesting to watch. They have a lot of really amazing insights too on how these people are doing in front of the cameras, what their tells are kind of for their poker faces. So it gives you a lot more insight into what's going on, the inner workings of their mind as they're up there during those debates.
Yeah. All right, kiddo, I appreciate you taking time from your busy day and coming out. And
I appreciate you having me.
No problem. You're welcome anytime you want. And if you're not on as often as you want to be, just tell me that you want to come on.
I'll have to do that. Thank you so much, everybody, for having me.
No problem. I enjoy it every time you come.
I hope you guys can check out all of the great information, and I hope to see you guys out on the road again tomorrow night, lining the streets. Be there with your flags and signs, guys.
That's right. All right, Sharice, always a pleasure. You're welcome back anytime.
All right. Thank you so much. God bless. Have a fantastic day, everybody.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We're going to do this. It's a parachute. Actually, she took hers before I said it. See, these people get smart. They all know that when at the end of the broadcast, they politely leave on their own. But no, Sharice Moser is a really fun person to have on. We have done broadcasts about East Palestine, Ohio. We don't update that enough, as we should. Go to the Soup Mama official Facebook page. Go to Soup Mama official everywhere else you see it, because sometimes you'll see things on the other social media networks that you won't see on Facebook or on YouTube. If you have questions, email her at soupmamaofficial@gmail.com. Again, the Tuesday night motorcade, 6 p.m., down and around the National Construction Center in Philadelphia. You can probably get more information by just looking around the area, talking to people in the area. You might catch Michael Anthony. I think he's going to be on at 8 o'clock Tuesday night. So he might have some information. You should tune in and watch. Randy Rhodes and Jen Woodruff. It was not being rude to Jen anyway. Sometimes my mind just goes and I can't get it fast enough. Randy Rhodes and Jen Woodruff, Straight Talk with Jen and Randy, or Straight Talk with Randy and Jen. I don't care how you call it. Either way, they're both really good broadcasters. They teach you things that you need to know. Randy brings the genealogy and the history side in, sometimes the politics. Jen brings in the history lesson side. Very political too at times, but it's a great show to watch. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern here on Facebook. And I'm not sure where else Randy is going right now. Take that broadcast when they're on Straight Talk with Jen and Randy, 12 noon Eastern on Randy Rhodes' Facebook profile. And while you're watching it, share it to all of the groups on Facebook you are in that you think it should be posted in. Because if an admin or a moderator doesn't want it in that group, they'll tell you, and then don't. Same thing you do with Boogie with the Bull. I always tell you, if you're watching and you share it into all the groups you think it should be in, but if an admin or a moderator ever asks you not to share it into their group, then please don't, because it's the same thing I do. I sent it out to 61 groups today, and if someone says they didn't want it in or not to send it into that group again, or they just reject it and don't give me a message why, then I just don't send it to them. It's not worth bothering people. But there's a lot of information to get out in the days leading to the November 5th presidential election, and you need to study harder than you have probably studied at any time in any presidential election in your entire life. Okay? And as I have said, and I will continue to say, I don't care if you're an American neo-Nazi. I don't care if you're a whatever you want to be, Green Party, New Green Deal, Red Deal, whatever political party you're in. The important thing to me is that you vote once, you vote right, meaning that you do it the right way, and when you talk to people, you stand up for whoever you voted for. I mean, if you think Kamala Harris and Tim Walz will be the right people to run the United States of America until 2028, then you vote for them. But if Kamala Harris really did hit this girl 13 years ago and never talked about it and made sure that her mother didn't report it and made sure that the police that might have gotten evidence on it didn't investigate it or whatever, then she needs to come clean. If Alicia Brown is lying and trying to set up Kamala Harris to take votes from you, she needs to come clean. Kamala Harris needs to come clean, and they need to fight that out however they want to fight it out, in the courts or whatever. Election manipulation on any kind is wrong, period. Whether you're doing it to get Trump elected or you're doing it to get Kamala Harris elected, it is wrong. Mark Zuckerberg claims he's not doing it in this election, hasn't done it up to now on Facebook, and won't do it as we get closer to the election. Will he do it? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't care. I will say the same thing I've been saying on Boogie with the Bull broadcast lately. There is no guarantee that we will be here a few days to the election until maybe after the next president is inaugurated, even if President Trump is elected. We're here at Facebook's will. We appreciate them letting us be here. We appreciate the groups that let me post the broadcast live. We appreciate the groups that it gets posted in. On top of that, we appreciate the people that watch. On an average, we're getting about 100 plus views on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and a little bit better in the evening, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's kind of loose. The format is politics plus whatever comes out of my mouth, our mouth, your mouth, out of the mouth of the babes. We want you to be involved. And again, like I said, if you're not supporting President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance, you're supporting someone else, come on here and explain why. People will respect you while you're doing that, and they ask that you respect them when they're talking about why they support Trump. But hey, we are Americans. We're American citizens. We have a solemn right of freedom of speech, and this is your avenue to come on and do it. We do it a little bit different than a lot of broadcasts. I don't charge you to make a comment. I don't make you buy stars. I want you to just come in, type a comment, come on camera, and say something and stand by what you say. Say what you mean what you say. Anyway, it's 11:34 on Monday, September 9th, the Monday morning caffeine edition of Boogie with the Bull. I appreciate everyone who watched. One more time, we'll go out and clear out and wait a second and come back in and look. 147 people are now watching Boogie with the Bull on Facebook. I don't track the viewership on YouTube, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to anybody that watches us on YouTube. Originally, I got YouTube because I needed to build a library of Boogie with the Bull broadcasts, and YouTube seemed to be the best place to do it. And then when I wanted to get it onto other social media networks, posting it from the YouTube channel seemed to be the best way, because if you watch it on StreetLock and I take it and share it, post it from Facebook, you can't be in the live chat. Sometimes on most social media networks, there's a way to slip you into the YouTube live chat, and that keeps you in and gets you involved. But anyway, Melinda Brown Fortney says, great podcast, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate that you watch. Melinda watches sometimes on Facebook, sometimes on YouTube, sometimes probably on both. I don't know, but I appreciate it. So watch where you will. And if you watch in any one of the groups that we try to post it in as we're going live each day, let me know the group that you're watching it in. And if you're sharing it, please let me know the groups that you're sharing it to. Either tell me in the live chat while we're on, or put it in a message and send it to me on Messenger. I just want to know who's watching. I really do. So again, today was Monday. Tomorrow night's Tuesday Night Live, depending on the time of the debate. If the debate happens between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m., then we won't have a Boogie with the Bull broadcast. And if Sharice, like she said, is live streaming the presidential motorcade in Philadelphia getting to the debate, then maybe we'll share that post all over Facebook. Depending on the time of the debate, well, depending on once the debate starts. If it starts at 9 o'clock and goes to 11 o'clock, like most things seem to happen, then we will at least get it posted in our groups and as many groups as we can on Facebook, and you can watch it that way. No, I'm not sure what we're going to do. It's not fun to watch debates and things like that, speeches in our bedroom when I'm watching them, because Donna says, you're talking to a screen and they can't hear you anyway. But watch the debate. It's very important. It will open up your eyes to both Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, and it will open up your eyes to President Trump and J.D. Vance. It's very important. Knowledge is power. It's what you know and how you use it to benefit yourself in a good way, of course. So I thank the 147 people that are watching live. It may go up a little bit when the podcast actually sets in about 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll track it from there. So anyway, sometime tomorrow we'll see you tomorrow evening, and everyone will watch the debate. Wednesday morning, like I said, we're going to talk about 9/11. If you want to come on the broadcast and make a comment, please feel free to do so. The link will be on the screen. Again, I always say this, and it never happens. We can only have me and 7 other people on a broadcast. So if there are more than 7 other people that want to come on, we may have to flip people off so someone else can get on. It's never happened. If it does, we'll deal with it as best as we can. That's all we can do. The dogs have been fed. I have had my morning caffeine. I'm still working on it. It's time to go do some patrolling of our groups and see what we're doing. A lot of our groups, and I say our groups, meaning the groups where I'm a group owner of, some of them always get reviewed going into an election and after an election. And in some cases, if they don't look like they have the potential after the election to hit at least 1,000 members, then we sometimes after the election will think about closing a group. I am not doing that with MAGA News Nation, okay? I worked very hard. Vita Marie Harmon, who became the group owner, worked very hard The group has, I forget, 390 something members in it. I just find as many people as I can that want to join that group, post about MAGA and President Trump. You do not have to be a Republican and or a Trump supporter to be in that group. It is a private group now. I moved it private because it was my feeling that we had it open as a public group with participants and members, and it just didn't seem to be growing. So I made it a private group thinking that maybe MAGA, America First, Trump supporters would feel a little better and help grow a group. It's got a fantastic news feed. I like to build groups with what I call serial drive-by posters. They come and they post in all of our groups. American Regulators, Boogie with the Bull, Art Sessions, Conservative Freedom Defenders, MAGA News Nation, Red Patriots for America, the Red MAGA Nation, all of our groups. They post in all of them so that if you're not a member of all of them, you can usually find the best serial drive-by posters posting in these groups and other groups. I invite them into other Trump supporting groups that I get invited into join. Why? Because they just post and they 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 post. And sometimes they end up in Facebook jail, like Mary Craig Battle, who's, I think, the first serial drive-by poster I had going back, I think, 15 years ago when we had the ECP Hardcore Conservatives group. And, you know, these people, I love them. You know, they spend their entire days, sometimes their entire nights, posting in groups everything they think you should read. And you should. And you can, well, you can't take it out of a private group. Can't take it out of a private group. But, well, actually you can. You look at it, you copy the link, and you take the link and you share the story. Because we don't have anything in our private groups that you can't take and share. So we'll talk about that if people, again, remind me that they can't share out of a private group. You can. You just have to do it the old-fashioned way. You have to take the link and then post the link where you want it. But anyway, registered, I hope, going to vote. I demand, if you're going to be at the polls and you're concerned about anything that might happen, like it did on Fox at 3 o'clock in the morning on November 6th of 2020, don't watch it on Fox or keep an open mind, because just because it happened on Fox in 2020 doesn't mean that it won't happen someplace else at 3 a.m. or earlier in November. Just be careful, watch around the surroundings. If you see any problems happening at the polls where you are and you're outside, fire up your cell phone and let me know. And if I can, we'll do a special Boogie with the Bull report with you and what's going on at your polls. I actually have to look on the calendar because I don't know what day of the week November 5th is. So let me do that really quickly. November 5th is a Tuesday, so we will be on election night. Whether we do exit polls and let you know what's going on, I haven't figured out that yet. If anybody wants to be one of the 7 people that can join me on election night, let me know, and I will give you a spot, or just show up. You'll see the link on the screen and come in and say whatever you want to say and be a part of the fun. Again, tomorrow night, please watch the debate. We will post it everywhere we can. If it comes on between 7 and 9, we will end the Boogie with the Bull broadcast and make sure that we have shared where you can watch the broadcast in all of our groups and as many other groups as we can. It'll be on my profile. And just do your best to watch it. Wednesday, like I said, 9/11 on 9/11, where everybody has an opportunity to talk about what happened on September 11th, 2001. I have an interesting story that a lot of people may not have. Okay. We had a situation where Donna's father passed away on September 4th. Our lives were getting back to normal. He was buried on the 7th. And just about the time we were getting back to our lives, Donna and I and our sons, 9/11 hit. And I was getting ready to go to work. Lived in Connecticut. I was getting ready to go to work, jump in the cab and drive up to Waltham. And as soon as I saw it on TV, I jumped in the cab and drove to the preschool where Donna taught just to make sure they were all okay. And stayed down there. Logan Airport was a nightmare. It was really bad to be in the transportation business, depending on Logan Airport, bringing people there or bringing people out of there. But it was more terrible with what happened with planes that left Logan Airport on that day. So if you have any comments that you want to make on that broadcast on Wednesday, you are more than welcome to join us live at 10 a.m. on the broadcast, in the live chats on Facebook and YouTube. My profile on Facebook, Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, and be a part of the broadcast. Speaking of 9/11, let me get this up on the screen for a moment so I read it right, because sometimes I don't always read things right. We're going to cover the link for a moment because we're pretty much not going to bring anybody else on to the broadcast right now, as we're going to wrap it up. We're going to bring this up on the screen. Bill Muckler's books, 2020, A Clear Vision for America, 2020, A Clear Vision for Our Future, written in 2015 and 2018, I believe, as we talk about every Friday. Read them. Bill is known for his comments that the Department of Education should be closed, the Department of Internal Revenue Service should be eliminated, and we just need to clean ourselves up. So you might want to read the 2020 books. The book, I hope, if there was any way to get this book and have it tomorrow, for Wednesday, you should. Or get this book today and read it tomorrow, or read it and be ready on Wednesday, you should. It's Bill's blueprint as to how he thinks, based on all the research he did, the planning and everything that went into the execution of 9/11/2001. And from what I've read so far, and I've only read the first 4 chapters, it seems to be going that way. I will hope to have the rest of the book read. I will start at chapter 5 probably later in the day today, tomorrow, and be ready to discuss it with Bill more on Friday, on Red Friday Morning Caffeine with Bill Muckler and I. Red Friday Morning Caffeine. Remember that. Remember, everyone deployed Fridays. We do that every Friday with Bill Muckler and I. And we'll talk about that. After we finish discussing 6 soft targets, our next books are going to be Bill's 2020 books, A Clear Vision for America, A Clear Vision for Our Future. And one by one, every Friday, if you have the book, Bill is going to assign a chapter. They might not be in order. He's going to assign a chapter, and we all have to read it and be ready to discuss it on the next Red Friday Morning Caffeine with Bill and I. And that may take a little bit longer because there's 2 books. But anyway, the 2020 books, A Clear Vision for America, A Clear Vision for Our Future, hardbound books, they are a $25 donation. That covers the nice note that Bill leaves inside the book for you, as well as the shipping the book to you or to the person if they're a gift. $25 donation. 6 soft targets is a $20 donation. It's paperback. And again, $20, includes the shipping and the nice note the Bill will write for you or the person that you're giving them to. Go to the Bill Muckler Facebook page. The Bill Muckler Facebook page. You can read up on the 3 books, and for $45 you can buy all 3. And I don't think you will find better written, better researched books than those 3 from Bill Muckler. I finally found the box that I had packed the 3 of them in, and I'm going to clear up some space to get them on my desk again, get the printer on our desk too. Anyway, it is 10 minutes of 12, and I don't want to do 2 hours, so this is the part of the broadcast where I say you have been watching Boogie with the Bull, Monday Morning Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. I want to thank, give me just a moment. Now come back in. I want to thank 178 people who watch the broadcast. And like I said, the number will go up a little bit once it gets posted live or as a podcast on my profile, as well as in the groups that we shared it. 61 groups. We sent actually 70 groups. I posted it to 61. That means 9 people shared it to groups they wanted it to be in. Please, if you like the broadcast, share the broadcast on Facebook. If you didn't like the broadcast, share the broadcast on Facebook and tell me why you didn't like the broadcast, what we could have done to make it better, topics that we could have brought up and discussed, and maybe even having you on as a guest. I say a lot, if you are an admin or a group owner or an admin and you want to come on and talk about your group on Facebook, regardless of whether or not it's a political group, let me know. Sure. I'd love to have you on 15 minutes, 30 minutes to plug your group and see if we can help you grow members. If you're having an event, hey, we'll give you anywhere up to about an hour and a half of time to talk about and promote your event. And we'll try to have you back as close to your event as we can. And if it's possible, we will try to coordinate a Boogie with the Bull live broadcast of your event if we can, because that's what we want to do. I can't get everywhere I'd like to get anymore. Dementia, Parkinson's, whatever else you want to say is going on inside my head. So this is how I educate myself with what's going on in the world. And when there are events going on, if we can be there, we can live stream them to you. I hope you're getting yourself educated. Anyway, double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. And that's about all I have to say. We'll hit that one. We'll hit this one.